Wow, this thing looks alive. I'm here with the Sabre Cafe project, and we are carving up some foam building a gas tank. Welcome to Hack a Week. Back at it with the tank. I've got the bike mocked up here on some wood, so I'm trying to simulate as best I can the geometry of the bike when I'm going to be riding it. Anyway, kind of funny stuff I noticed about this whole cafe thing, this resurgence of it going on. I mean, I'm 53. I'm not ancient, but I'm not young anymore either, and I had a RD350 cafe racer in like 81, I think. I had an R5C Yamaha, which is an RD350 without the reed valves. And I went to a wrecking yard and I spent about $100 and found rear set controls, some Clubman bars, a tank and seat combo that just bolted right onto the RD350. The rear sets, everything. It was like it was made for it. It was great. So I stuck those on there, started riding it like that, then I went back to that wrecking yard one day and found an old school full race fairing that came down to here, and that was cool. So that was, to me, that was that's what cafe bikes are about. You go to the junkyard and you find stuff that you can bolt on your bike and rip all that RD350 stuff off and all that sheet metal crap and start bolting on some lightweight stuff. Man, I had a ball with that bike. That thing was so much fun ripping around in traffic. And, you know, I drove it in Phoenix, Arizona, and I lived. I'm here to tell the tale. Took that bike up to 100 miles an hour before I even knew what doing the ton was. I'll tell you what, 100 miles an hour in an RD350 on a country highway in the desert is kind of sketchy. So what I'm doing sitting here and yakking about cafe bikes is, well, my point being, by the way, get a bike, make it your own, you know, do some cool stuff to it. Just don't do anything stupid to modify what already works, right? Came from the factory, work it, go ride it. So go ride it first, get it all running, you know, and then do all this build up stuff. I kind of fudged it on this because I've been around bikes. I kind of knew that, okay, there's a few things to check over. The bike's going to be okay. I'm going to just start building. And, you know, I had it running yesterday. It runs fine now. Just needs to get a tank on it. So I digress. Go build a bike and have fun in your cafe racer. I'm going to mark where my knees go on here, on the front pegs and on the back, because I might do rear sets on the back. So let's see. Let me just get comfy again before I can, yeah, I'll have it like that. So that's the front control. Let me just straight the line there where my knee is. That's good enough. And then one on the rear sets, which is not so bad. But if I'm going to lean off the bike, I'm going to bear in mind a little bit of taper at the back. So let's see, there's the rear. I'm going to take that off and get on the bench and stare at it for a while now and decide what I'm going to do for knee dents in the side of this thing. Sweet. Double-sided tape. Handy stuff. Get a piece of tracing paper. Drafting vellum, actually. Good stuff. Old school, when they used to actually draw stuff on paper and then build it. How about that? Want a quickie drawing lesson? When you're trying to draw an arc, if you let your hand turn into kind of a compass, so you can draw a nice clean arc. So you just kind of do a little at a time. Move your hand a bit. Beautiful. Here you go, you got a free drawing lesson. Let's cut this out so I can transfer it to the other side of the tank. That's why I'm doing all of this. Picture's worth 1,000 words, eh? Or video in this case. Same line on the other side, duplicated. Time to do some more tank carving now. I love this part. I think I want a bevel on this, not so much like a radius. I like this bevel thing I got going, so I want to cut this at a bevel. Well, I just came up with this little nifty invention. This is just a 45-degree angle right here with an X-Acto blade. It's a number 11 X-Acto blade, and it's mounted, I guess about a 40 degree offset, so that it'll slice easily. And what you can do with this is make some pretty cool cuts on foam with a bevel, and it'll go right through there like butter. Of course, it's going to get dull kind of quick, so I got to do some cool stuff with it before it does. So let me give you a little demo here on this squiggly line. If I just follow the line with the blade, nice fluid motion. And if I scoop the rest of this out on the other side, you'll see, but just to show you the bevel that you can cut, it's pretty cool. That's a pretty nice clean bevel on a curve. So now you can start doing some modeling with that and shaping and turn it into what you want. So let's give it a try in the tank. I want that bevel like this, so I'm going to cut it this way and try to keep it flat here just in the first inch or two of my piece of wood. Follow that curve. Alright, that's one side down. I just realized I can do something else with this tool. Depending on how far away from this line I make the cut, it will also determine how deep it goes into the foam, right? If I start out here with my cut, and I follow a line that goes about like that, theoretically I should taper to nothing here, right? That is, if I keep the plane of this even with where this cut intersects with this cut. Whoa! Okay, you'll see what I mean by the reveal when I'm done here, if this works the way I want. See that? If I follow that valley with my planing this way, I'll have a nice dimple there, and it'll end up with a beveled edge. That's cool. What a neat little tool. Patent it! Well, that certainly added some character to the tank. I like that. It's looking pretty good. I lost some of the bevel there on the detail from the sander, but that's okay. I can build that back up as I do the fiberglassing and stuff. What matters is that the contour is there. So this is like I said before, sculpting. Now this is how to shape and sculpt foam. This is the way they do it in surfboard shaping rooms. Actually, they have two lights like this overhead, positioned the same distance from whatever it is you're working on. And they usually will put a light over along the edge here and here too, and you can flick between the two lights so you can change where things get highlighted. But the idea is, as you can see from the video, this is in shadow, and this is highlighted in middle tone, and this is most highlighted. So you can see all of the contours. You can actually see that little bit of a concave that I shaped into this, indicated by the way that this divots in a little bit. So we're gonna keep shaping along here, and I'm gonna start working a bevel into this line right here. I want to pull this line down a little bit further right in here. So watch what happens to the highlight right here. See what it did? It dipped down a little bit. So that gives me an indication of where I'm at. Right here it could dip down a little more just to look better. So let's do that. Looks pretty good on the bike. Single point source of light helps with the shadows and the sculpting. Looks like I'm doing pretty good on the curves here. Matching them up pretty good side to side. So far I really like it. Working out here in the daylight again. I decided to try another trick, you know, a little automotive bodywork trick. And that is to just lay on a kind of an indicator coat, or whatever else you want to call it. Gives you something to look at when you're sanding. You see the contrast just in the color part that you've sanded off. So when I sand on this, I'll be able to see the blue foam coming through the black paint easily and be able to get everything nice and symmetrical. little more concave. That's a considerable amount more of concave. That's what I want. Both sides. It's looking pretty good. Looks pretty good on the bike. I like it. It's got a pretty neat cobra head look to it, don't you think? I like that. Got a mouth going on here, eyes, cheekbones. So I think the seat will have to be in keeping with some of this design that I've got going on here. But I really like it. This is gonna look really cool once it's all painted. All right. I'm pretty pleased with this tank. It's coming along great. I may make a few more changes as the seat gets built and developed and I see what kind of curves I get going there. I may or may not add a few more contours to the tank. Maybe a little concave or roundness here. Possibly a little narrower back here by the thigh area. We'll see. It's a work in progress. I do have the gas cap. That's going to be a fun little endeavor in and of itself. Flush mount gas cap, that's all got to go in. Lots of stuff coming up. So anyway, till next time. Electric. Whoa. Hey, all right.